So we're riding on board with Leclerc through Ascari. He's on the hard tyres now, he's up in 4th place. He's just made a nice move on the 2 Alfa Romeos on the restart. And then this happens, into Parabolica, and his race has a very unsavoury ending. Turns it in, all looks normal at this point, and then just goes for throttle, and you can just see, if I pause it there, he has just a twitch at the wheel, keeps the throttle in. Really, you can't be backing out of the throttle on the exit of Parabolica, particularly when you're basically a safety car restart, 1 lap after the restart. You've got cars right behind you. If you back off the throttle, you're going to be passed by everyone. So he does the brave thing, keeps it in even though he's fighting the car, but then ultimately it goes again and he has this big crash, corrects it, overcorrects it really, and hits the wall. He had a similar sort of moment through the gravel at Lesmo 1 in FP2 where he had a big slide, overcorrected it, bounced through the gravel and escaped unharmed. This one, Parabolica, is a notoriously punishing corner, and really at this point you realise how fast he's going. He's going at 220 kilometres an hour, hits the wall and stops in an instant. Huge G-force, over 17 G for this one for Leclerc. So it was great to see him jogging away from it because this one was a big one and it caused the red flag which changed the race. But let's have a little look at the steering trace for Leclerc because this is really interesting to see quite how leery the Ferrari was here. So this graph shows the steering angle basically through each of the corners. So it's the degrees of steering angle, and every time he turns left or right, it's basically registered through each of these corners. The green one is lap 19, the last lap he did before the safety car. The red one is the lap he crashed, and you can see where it gets away from him at the Parabolica immediately. But look through the lap, and you can already see little spikes of oversteer, basically. Exit of the Rettifilo, the first chicane, he's just struggling more for traction. The same through Lesmo 1, he's having a little oversteer, just catching it mid-corner, just really small oversteer at this point. But it's clearly a bit more on the edge. Again, at Ascari, the car's more on the edge for him. Now this is hard tyres for Leclerc, also potentially cold tyres after the safety car, and also a bit of traffic in front from Pierre Gasly, all the Alfa Romeos that he was fighting with before. And then there you have it at Parabolica, the big one. And you can see that first snap is pretty big. And that's the one we could see from the onboard. Then he corrects it, and then the second snap is unsavable for Leclerc. He didn't back out of the throttle really for the first one, and that probably helped the car go around for the second one. But again, at Parabolica is really tricky, and you want to keep the throttle in if you possibly can. The Ferrari this year, very difficult to drive. Vettel had another spin and a tap of the barrier in FP2 as well, and the drivers aren't very happy with the car that's underperforming. It was right on the edge. Leclerc was up in 4th place, had a great chance for another good result at Monza in a Ferrari, but ultimately this one got away from him in a big way. So that was a look into the big crash of Charles Leclerc, but there was plenty more action at Monza as well. For more insight into the shaky start of Valtteri Bottas, strategy chaos, and how the race was won by AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly, check it out on F1 TV.